I hope not to ever see. I don't want to be working that long at this point.
Just wanted to hand you that, right? So, you know, when I joined for Consent Decree, right? So I think my first connection with Rich was, other than we were going down to projects that we had to do, was the art. You know, obviously for me, it's always, you know, being from Ireland, there's always that Irish connection. Right? I always connect people with people if they've had some, you know, some kind of interaction. You know, Kevin did, you know, used to talk to your mother-in-law about Irish dancing, right? But Rich had spent, you know, 4.5 years plus in Ireland, so you know we had a lot of common. I had gone to college before, and Rich is a big rugby fan, so it was like we played rugby, and so we had this great connection in terms of, you know, what was going on in Ireland with the rugby. And actually, Rich had made contacts in Ireland in terms of whether it was rugby or whatever. Right? It was, that kind of blew my mind, right? You know, he got to the Irish Stadium for rugby and had met like a lot of the kind of the major players, and had met Christy O'Connor, who, you know, was a major golfer, and just a lot of big connections. I was always kind of impressed with that. And it's part of, it's Rich, right? I mean, he's, you know, out there, you know, and just that kind of easygoing and just very relatable person, right? And has made not just those people, but I think with all of us, right, has made that connection. You know, at a professional level, you know, when you run large groups, right, you're always, and you know, you guys are experiencing that, right? You're always looking for people that can really get it done, right? You know, I look around this table, like if I was to select a team that I'd want in Kenilworth, I mean, I said it some of the other day, the people that are left in Kenilworth are the people that you would want to hold on to, right? You know, remember all the people evaluations we would do, you know, for different stages of Kenilworth. And I look at this group here, and this is the group you would want on your core team, you know. So, but Rich was always that for me, right? So, you know, when he was reporting to Vinay, or you know, when we rolled up, Vinay left, Rich was always the guy who could say, you know, Rich, I have this group over here. They don't have any leader. You're gonna take over that. So, you know, Rich, no qualms, would bring that group in, would kind of, you know, assimilate them in, and all of a sudden, all of that piece would be matched. But always had that great ability. Never have to worry about it, right? You know, these are the things you kind of worry when you're managing. Right? You hand over this group to someone. All right, okay, how are they going to manage it? You never have to worry about. Rich really was able to pull people in, bring them in, and engage them as a part of his team. I thought that was always that was a great skill that Rich brought to the table. And I saw that, like, when you look at kind of the career, you know, and up to leading the group in Kenilworth. So, you know, I do compliment you for that. I always said, you were never someone that came back to me and said, I can't do it, or I don't have enough people, or we always said, you know, I'll get it done, and, you know, in some of them, but he always kind of managed it, right, and structured it so he could manage it, which was kind of always a very good way to manage people, a very good way to kind of manage projects, right? And you were a fantastic example of that, right? So, and I always certainly appreciated that the relationship that we've had over those 10 years now. And, so I do want to, you know, I mean, this is just kind of an example of, you know, the commitment. It just is amazing that Rich has done for a company. It's kind of bittersweet, right? You know, we're doing this now for you, and obviously the site is obviously pulled out of the network. But I think this is kind of an example of, you know, it's commitment, and I think, you know, and I kind of look at this group here, the commitment of this group over the years. It's not about the company. You know, this is I look at this as bricks and mortar, maybe because, you know, it's really the people made the site, the people who made the company. And Rich has obviously been, you know, core and a big influence. You know, if any of you guys want to, you know, have any additional words to add to that, or
I could definitely vouch, but when I was on the Rick staff, there was nothing that came our way. Like, he would always say, like, we might be worried about it. He's like, we could handle it. We'll do this. Always. I remember the time that he would say,
Sure, it's always a can-do attitude. Yeah, it's funny. Thanks for those words there, Randall. But you know, Ireland, yeah, is a special place in my heart because I seriously consider not doing it. But now, you know, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. At the time, I was just got engaged. Well, I was going to get engaged. My wife passed me. I had to put it on hold because I had to do this. It was a commitment that I had to do. And the job was going to be, I didn't know what I was getting into, you know, like, yeah, here's your budget, you get a $1 million budget, and it ended up being like, you know, $20 million budget. And, you know, I was traveling and everything, because I was living in Europe, everything had to purchase in Europe, so I was doing a lot of stuff in mainland, you know, Europe and stuff like that. So I said, it didn't make any sense for her to be with me, you know, at that point, for a lot of different reasons. But,
You guys are shopping around with somebody else. But he's not telling that.
Like a filthy trailer.
Yeah, right.
that's a tongue-in-cheek now. Well, but even
Gotta
say,
tell you about those Irish girls.
yeah, don't listen to what they say about it. It's rough.
Okay,
But I was
Kathy,
working.
too.
I was working a lot of. She's Irish, by the way, so I was working a lot of hours. So it did make a lot of sense. But Randall talks about the rugby. My two best friends, my two best groups were the local rugby team, and I lived in a town called Kinsale, which is a little fishing village. So my other friends were the fishermen. So you had two very diverse. Yeah, the rugby
Mellow
guys.
groups.
And so I remember one day in particular, we just got done playing a rugby match. I was in the bar, we're all sweating and blah, 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 and like drinking our Guinness. And one of the fishermen come in there. He had been out fishing for like a week. And then one of the guys I was with said, it smells like money. You know, this guy's been, smells like fish. He came in, like we were sweating like playing, you know, rugby. This guy comes in from a week of fishing. You know, just got off the boat and like, oh, dude. You know? But it was just like the camaraderie that we had, and it just like, to this day, I still have friends over there, and still, you know, not as frequently as I like, but again, it's a special place in my heart, and but again, that opened up a lot of doors for me, and you know, coming back and building two, which was where I started, or kind of started, which was Sterile Products, was now the fermentation or purification facility for Intron. So Intron kind of built my whole career with sterile, and then when I switched over into doing non-sterile, it was like, whoa, it's like night and day. You know, I'm doing LLCs and dumping like piles of sugar on the floor, and just like, oh, Jesus Christ, you know, what the hell am I getting into, you know? But again, I mean, spanning 40 years in the company, and we've seen the growth. We've seen, and now a lot of these people, you know, Ed, I know for a long time, and Paul Getz, and who else around here? Cruz, a little later on than that, and Lisa, when she was in the labs. So there are some people that are still around that, you know, have paid their dues as well. Not as long as I have, obviously, but I mean, Mark Oganowski has a couple years on me, and I think one other person, other months.
Tommy, right? Tommy had 35.
Tommy's gone though.
Yeah.
He got his 40.
But anyway, the long story short is I wouldn't change anything. I had a great career. It's not done yet, obviously. The people I've interacted with, and I still interact with people that have left the company, and it's been great. And I just want to appreciate and say thank you for, I was very surprised, because I don't really think of stuff like that. And, you know, but again, I want to thank you guys, because you guys hang around for through the thick and thin, and like everybody's going to be shortly moving on their own way. You guys have jobs and starting new opportunities, and a lot of you guys have your career ahead of you, you know, so mine's kind of gone this way, you guys are going that way, and I'm glad that, you know, all the key guys got that position, so we're working hard to keep everybody happy. And those guys who are, those folks that are not gonna, you know, stay into whenever it is, and hope everything works out for everyone, and, you know, enjoy your life, as I have so far, and continue. I do enjoy my life, so. Randall knows, you guys know I like to travel, I like to do a lot of different things. Not as much as you there, Estella, right? But I do like to travel, and again, going to Europe opened up many, many doors for me to, I've been to every freaking country over there. And if I got in for business, I'd always stay for a weekend or extra time on my dime just to enjoy that life, you know. But, it's great, I mean, you think back of all the things that I've gone through. I sit down and I'm like, it's just like, where do I start? You know. But it's been about the people that I've met all along the way. It's made it enjoyable for myself. And the corporation, and Insurance Cloud, and then subsequently. My main thoughts and experiences, for the most part, have definitely been Insurance Cloud. They definitely care. I won the Vice President's Award or President's Award for Insurance Cloud, and that opened the door for me to go to this adventure for 5 years over there, which was, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was really, really good. Really, everybody has an opportunity to ever do that, to be an expatriate. I highly recommend it. It's really, really good. But again, I just want to say thank you. I'm going to run on, but thanks again, and I appreciate that. Thank you each and every one of you. 4 years.